Hello guys, this is your friend Naruto Addict 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto had a love triangle of sorts with the Hyuga sisters and their mother part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto is now 18 years old. He was in a happy relationship with Hinata Hyuga. Things were going well for them. Naruto was to succeed Tsunade after she retires as Hokage. Naruto was nervous when he sat down to officially ask her parents' permission to date their daughter. Hiashi scared him a bit but Hinata's mother Sia Hyuga calmed him down and thought Naruto would be good to Hinata. He may not have been raised by his parents but he did have their good traits and has proven he can be trustworthy. Sia was happy for her daughter. They were so in love that it made her jealous sometimes since her and Hiashi haven't had a spark like that in a long time. She was starting to feel lonely. Hiashi is always either in meetings or away for diplomatic missions. This was one of those weeks. Sia is now alone with Hinata and Hanabi on their missions. Sia couldn't help but want to try to relieve herself. Ah, so good. She was masturbating in her room with a vibrator she secretly bought. It feels so good, she said in her moans as she imagining having with someone. Instead of it being her husband she was thinking of Naruto. She couldn't help it. He was every bit as handsome and kind as his father, Minato. She kept imagining his hard going in her as she moved the vibrator in and out. Where she was pinching her nipples of her 38D size S she imagined he was ing on them. Oh, God, I'm almost there, she said till she heard someone entering. Hello? Anyone home? She recognized the voice and it was Naruto's. She quickly stopped and quickly fixed her robes and tried to hide her vibrator but Naruto entered before she had a chance to so she kept it under her robe. Oh Lady Sia, how are you? Oh, hello Naruto. What brings you here? She said nervously. I just got back from a mission and was looking to see if Hinata was home. Naruto replied as he took a seat in front of her. Oh, I see. Well, I'm afraid she has mission and won't be back till next week. She told him. What? Really? Naruto complained. Yes. I'm sorry. Almost everyone here is gone and are out at the moment. She told him as the thought of him almost catching her and him looking at her with his blue eyes and smiling at her was making her even more wet than before. Are you okay, Lady Sia? Naruto asked as he got close to her to make sure she was alright. I'm perfectly fine. Really? She replied. As Naruto got close and felt her forehead he then heard a faint noise coming from underneath her robes. What's that noise? He asked as he looked below and noticed the vibrator along with the fact she wasn't wearing panties and blushed. Ah, she yelled as Naruto tried to get her to calm down. Please don't tell anyone, she begged him. I won't, I promise, he told her. So, why do you have that anyway? He asked her being naturally curious. Sigh, it's just. Hiashi barely touches me anymore. She replied while looking sad. I miss the feeling and I got a little jealous of how you and Hinata are so in love. Even at how you two had your first last month. How do you know about that? Naruto asked her thinking he was busted. I am her mother, Naruto. She showed obvious signs that something good happened between you two. She replied. I'm a really terrible mother. She said as she felt giddy. No, come on, it's natural. He tried to comfort her. You're a beautiful woman. Hiashi would have to be crazy to not be taking care of you when you need him. No, not that. I think of you every time I masturbate. She told him. Oh, I guess that would be something to feel guilty about. But even so it's natural to wanna do that. Come on, don't cry. Naruto tried to cheer her up. Sob, thank you. I just feel so guilty. She said as she looked up at Naruto. He looked down at her and couldn't help but notice at how Hinata no doubt inherited her cute face from her. He tried wiping her tears till they both started leaning closer and closer till they touched lips. No, we shouldn't. Why, you're right, Naruto said, and yet he was still being drawn to her and kissed her again but this time more deeply. Sia accepted the kiss. They slpped their tongues inside each other's mouths. Just to help relieve you. Relieve me. was all she said as she kissed him again. I'm sorry Hinata, but I need this. To be touched. To be loved. She said in her thoughts as she felt Naruto touch her s. He got behind her and started massaging her s. He then opened up her robes and got a good look at her body. Her s were big and wondered if Hinata's would grow to that size. He then started ing on her left and started fingering her. Ah, oh god, that feels so good, she told him as he ed and fingered her. She wrapped her arms around him to make him continue. Ah, 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 oh god. I'm almost there. I'm coming. Sia yelled as she felt herself orgasm hard. That was a pretty hard orgasm. He told her. Ha, ha, you look pretty hard. She replied as she moved and laid him down, then undid his pants and pulled them down. There was his 8-inch all hard and stiff. So big, she said as she began to give him a blow job. Ah, oh my god. Naruto said surprised Sia Hyuga was giving him a blow job and how good she actually was at it. She kept bobbing up and down while massaging his ball sack and using various tongue techniques. Naruto kept staring at her s. Oh, do you want me to use these? She said to him as she started giving him a titty job and ed the on the tip and licked it at the same time. Ah, oh god, this is too much. I'm gonna come. Naruto yelled as he placed his hands on the back of her head and pushed down. Sia didn't resist as she just let all his cum get released in her mouth and swallowed it, every last drop of it. Pwah! So delicious, she said in ecstasy. Naruto took the rest of his clothes off as he was still hard. He started on top of her and inserted his inside her. Ah, it's been so long, she said as she was in utter bliss and felt Naruto thrust deep inside her. Ah, 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 oh god. It feels so good inside you. He told her. You're so deep inside me. Ah, I'm gonna go crazy. Sia told him as Naruto picked up the pace. He started playing with her s for a bit. Then he noticed the vibrator. He stopped for a second, got her on all fours as he got her in doggy style, then turned on the vibrator and inserted in her butthole. Oh god, my and feel so good. She yelled as she started drooling. Naruto thrusted faster and harder. Here I come, he yelled as he released inside her, causing her to yell from her orgasm. More. I want more, she told him. In that case, Naruto made a few shadow clones and they started gangbanging her. Laying on the ground letting Sia ride him, a clone inserted his inherent thrusted hard inside her. Sia was ing off one of the clones, while she was using her hands to jerk off the last 2 clones. Oh, god, it's so amazing. I think I'm jealous of Hinata. He's so amazing. He may be better than Hiyashi and his father. She said in her thoughts as she was enjoying the. Oh god, I'm gonna come. Naruto yelled as the clones couldn't hold back anymore either, so they all released all they had on Sia and inside her, as well as she had her biggest orgasm yet. Sia enjoyed it. Naruto was still hard and his clones still had more energy. The who was giving her anal laid on the floor and got Sia on top while getting his back inside Harem. The Naruto thrusted her again. Both s going inside my. It feels so good. Whatever amount of common sense she had left was gone, as was Naruto's. All that was left was carnal desire. Naruto kissed her neck and left a kiss mark. They kissed more and their tongues exploring each other's mouths again. Stick out your tongue, he told her as she did as she was told through her moans. Naruto then started ing on her tongue. The thrusts were getting faster and faster. One clone dispersed and let the other 2 to get stroked by Sia. They bent down to massage and on her s. The feeling of it all was too much as her look of elegance was replaced with ecstasy. Oh god, my tongue, my s, my. I've never felt like this before. Not even with Hiyashi. Hiyashi doesn't even compare to it. Sia said in her thoughts. War. Him war. I went war. Sia said to Naruto and he obeyed as she kept stroking 2 of the clones. Ike humming. She yelled as all the Narutos released their cum in her and all over her again. The clones dispersed as Naruto was finally tired. He passed out and Sia slept with him for an hour. After the sleep, Naruto took a quick shower and was at the door. Naruto. Sia called Naruto looked nervous due to the fact that he just slept with his girlfriend's mother. Yes, he replied. Do come by and visit me again. She told. Don't worry, this'll be our little secret, she said seductively. Naruto blushed as she kissed him on the lips. Bye, Naruto quickly said as he dashed off, but the thought of actually boning one of the hottest women in the leaf was a turn on. She was only in her late 30s. 39 maybe 40 at the oldest, but she still had the body a woman in her mid-20s would kill to have, is what he thought as he headed home. Unbeknownst to them, Hanabi had just returned early and ended up witnessing the whole act till they slept. While they slept, she went out to clear her head. Then she returned after wandering for an hour and saw Naruto was just leaving. Sia now wanted Naruto for herself. Hanabi had an interest in Naruto as well. Now she had something to use on him. She decided to follow him and use this as her chance. Technically speaking, as shinobi who recently got her chunin rank, she is by ninja standards an adult. This was the beginning of a turning point in his life. Naruto was making his way to his new apartment he had been living in since after the Fourth Shinobi War. Just he was about to enter, he had the feeling he was being followed by someone. Why am I getting this sense of nostalgia? Or is it irony? Well, regardless, this feels familiar, he told himself as he tried to look around till. Gotcha. Next thing, he Hanabi him from the roof soon as he stepped out to find out who was following him. Hanabi was on top of him where most people would consider an indecent position. Hey Hanabi, he told her. I took down the hero of the Fourth War, she said proudly as she smiled at him. Congrats. Can I get up now? He asked her. Sure, she replied as she got off and he got up. So, you just get back from your mission? He asked her. Yeah, just got back and thought I could visit you, she told him. Okay, that's it, just slowly walk him into it, she said in her thoughts, trying to time she tell him she saw him and her mother doing the nasty. Well, I guess it should be fine. I don't have anything else going on, he told her with his smile. Just seeing that smile made heart skip a few beats as she blushed and looked away. Oh, God, even though he cheated on big sister with mother, I still get this way, she said in her thoughts. When Naruto and Hinata started dating, Hanabi didn't think much of him at first, but as she got to know him when they had their time alone to talk, she little by little started to love her big sister's boyfriend. She saw what it was that drew her sister to him. He was kind, strong, handsome, had a smile that makes you weak in the knees and sometimes hard to breath. They walked inside his apartment. She had been here a few times on her own to hang out with Naruto or with Hinata. Naruto didn't seem to have much of a problem with her hanging out with him, even though she often tagged along on few of their dates. So how are things in the Hyuga clan? Naruto asked her. As good as they can get. It's not easy when a lot of the men from both families died in the war. The elders are trying to keep things the same, but even I can see our clan will die out if we try to continue traditions, Hanabi replied. The fact of the matter is, among the casualties in the war when it ended, the Hyuga clan suffered many losses. The men ratio was down to roughly 5% in total. A lot of the women stayed behind because they either were just house servants or weren't suited for combat. The men that were still accountable were the 10 elders, Ko, and Hiyashi himself. There have been talks as to what the elders want to do. They would rather keep the bloodline pure more than anything, but that was proving to be difficult since so few men are left and the Hyuga women didn't seem to show any interest. Oddly enough, Hinata mostly hears them talk about how Hinata is lucky she have someone like Naruto. They really need to let go and let things play out on their own. Let life take its course, Naruto replied. Kinda like. She was getting ready to say it. This was her opening to get Naruto to be her first, but when she saw him look at her as if this won their usual hang sessions, she started to hesitate. She'll be blackmailing him to sleep with her. Her father would certainly end the relationship with Hinata if she didn't, but then she thought about how he would probably hate her. The thought of him hating her despite how much she was in love with him was painful for her. Kinda like what? Naruto asked as he then noticed her troubled look. He wondered if it was possible she actually saw him and Sia. He walked to her and put his arms on her shoulders. He was so close to her. She was about 6 inches shorter than him. Hanabi, did you see something out of the ordinary? Naruto was finding it hard to ask if she saw him cheating on Hinata with her mother. Sigh. I actually saw you and mother doing it. She mumbled, but he heard it. Hanabi, let me explain, and I know it'll sound like an excuse. You're not gonna tell anyone, are you? He asked her in a panic. This was her chance to make a deal. Blackmail him, but as mentioned, he would probably end up hating her in the long of things. No, she said quietly as she started to tear up. What was I thinking? I was so stupid, she said in her thoughts. Why are you crying? Hanabi, it's okay, you can tell me. I'll understand if you hate me now. I deserve it. It's just that your mom looked so lonely, and I guess I wanted to make her happy somehow, and it just led to that. It's no excuse. Go ahead and hit me, yell at me, or something. Naruto told her as he was expecting Hanabi to do something along those lines. I could never hate you, she told him, surprising Naruto. You make my sister happy, and ever since Neji died you've been a big help to us. I could always see mother looking at you the way big sister does. The truth is I'm jealous of her, and now I'm jealous of mother. She continued. Why would you be jealous? He asked her. Because. She started as she cupped his face and kissed him on the lips. A sweet kiss, and Naruto was surprised. This was the second Hyuga in one day that came onto him. I'm in love with you, Naruto. She confessed as she blushed as badly as Hinata. Hanabi, was all Naruto said as he kept to hold her. There was that feeling again. He wasn't sure what it was, but something just like with Sia drew him to Hanabi. Was it cause her feelings were sincere, or was it cause he couldn't bear to see Hanabi sad? He leaned in and kissed her, and it turned into a full makeout session. Big sister, I'm sorry. I tried to let him go. I really did, but Naruto has so kind to us and everyone in the clan. I couldn't help but fall for him. I don't want to let him go. Hanabi said in her thoughts as the makeout continued and heated up. Hanabi wanted him. Do me. What? Please, be my first. She told him. But Hanabi. I know, but as a ninja I am already an adult, especially now that I'm a chunin. She replied to him. She wanted this and didn't care what happened after. Naruto carried her bridal style to his bed and laid her down. He lifted her shirt and took it off, then took off her pants and panties in one go. She was still a bit small, but she did have a young adult's body. A few more years and she may have a full adult body as good as Hinata's. He massaged her C-cup-s, making her moan. Naruto ed on the left for a bit, then moved to the right. She was moaning pretty loud for a first-timer. Naruto was moving down to her womanhood as she looked embarrassed. He's looking at it. This is so embarrassing, she said in her thoughts as Naruto spread her open. You're so pink here, Hanabi. You're definitely Hinata's sister as well as your mother's daughter, he said as he started licking her. Ah, don't tell me that, you pee perv, she said as she was enjoying the new sensation. Naruto then stuck his index and middle finger in her as he started licking the. It feels so good, she said. Naruto was getting hard from the moans and at how cute Hanabi looked trying to stay in control, and his was getting pretty hard. Again. When he stopped, Hanabi looked confused on why he stopped as he pulled down his pants and saw his erection. She was getting nervous and wondered if it would even fit in her. Even she was 18, there was no way she was gonna believe that fitted inside Hinata or her mother. Naruto looked at her and made her heart race. I'm gonna put it in now. It's gonna hurt, but try to hang in there, he told her as she nodded a yes and trusted him. She felt the tip at the entrance. She began to feel it enter her as she closed her eyes tightly, bracing herself for the pain. She felt his go through and felt her hymen break as she then screamed from the pain, where Naruto then kissed her to quiet her down and stroked the back of her head to make her feel safe, that everything was gonna be okay. Naruto didn't move. He waited for Hanabi to let him know he can move. She looked up at his eyes. It's okay. You can move now, she said as she had small tears. She was happy. Happy to be one with the person she was in love with. Naruto moved at a slow pace since he was aware after his experience with Hinata that a first-timer can't handle too much roughness in one go. Naruto, she said as she pulled him in for another kiss. As the thrusts continued, he picked up the speed. Hanabi, you're so damn tight, he told her. Sia had experience. Hinata had a natural hip movement that made him hard for her when they did it, but Hanabi was insanely tight and Naruto was enjoying it. Naruto was at his limit for this one. I'm gonna come, Naruto said as he was about to pull out, but Hanabi crossed her legs around his waist. Don't pull out, she yelled as she moaned. But Hanabi could get. I know. I want it. I want your child, she admitted to him as Naruto couldn't hold it anymore. It's coming. I can't hold it. Me too. I'm coming. They both yelled as they climaxed at the same time. Naruto pulled out and saw he release a lot inside Hanabi. So much inside me. I'm gonna give birth to Naruto's baby. Quote. Hanabi said to herself with a satisfied look on her face and assumed she was gonna get pregnant on the first shot. She then fell asleep after all that. Naruto didn't want to push her too much since she just lost her virginity. As she slept, he put a blanket over her as she mumbled in her sleep. Naruto, I love you. Hanabi was having a happy dream. Apparently she was dreaming of her mother, her sister, and herself sharing Naruto so everyone can be happy. Naruto took a quick shower. He wondered if he was really that attractive or were all Hyuga women this crazy for him. I wonder if. No, that's just crazy. He was wondering if any other women in the Hyuga clan felt this way about him. Naruto was getting hungry. While letting Hanabi sleep, he went out to get them dinner after putting on some clothes. On his way to a small restaurant near his new apartment, he began reading a book left behind by Jiraiya. This book was locked away due to the fact it was Jiraiya's red book. He remembered Jiraiya telling him when he was old enough and grew up a bit more he would give him the book to help him on his road to manhood. He thought Jiraiya was being perverted again as he heard him mention that it had special training regimens that he himself guaranteed to make any and all women yearn for him. Naruto thought it was full of crap. Whether he liked it or not, it was a memento of Jiraiya, though granted not one he would read ordinarily, but just in case on a small chance any more Hyuga women came after him, he would at least skim it a bit to see what it had to say. No way. I mean, is that even possible? Is it really as simple as that? Naruto read only the first lesson and already he wasn't believing it. Naruto. At the sound of his name, he the book in his pocket. He then turned to see it was Tenten. She looked so grown up. Oh, hey Tenten, he replied nervously. Tenten was the most devastated of all after Neji died, but then as if by a miracle she found out she was pregnant with his child. She was happy. Happy that she at least had a small part of Neji with her. Before leaving for the battleground for the Fourth War, Neji and Tenten expressed their feelings fully since they weren't sure if they would survive the war. Sia was happy for her and offered her a place to stay in Hyuga compound, but she chose to live on her own to raise the baby. She was afraid that the elders would take the baby away from her and brand it with the cage bird seal. 9 months after that, she gave birth to a boy. She named him after Neji's father Hazashi. Speaking of the boy, he was right beside his mother holding her hand. He is now 1 year and 10 months. Hey, Hazashi, you being a good bye for your mom? Naruto asked him. Yes, he eagerly replied. The boy had a lot of Neji's looks, right down to the Byakugan, but seemed to have his mother's personality. Naruto chuckled as he knew that feeling when people tell him he has his father's looks but his mother's personality. We're both doing fine, Tenten replied happily. Despite being a single mother raising a child, but her pay as a jonin really covered the expenses to support needed to raise a child. You getting dinner? She asked him. Yeah, but I gotta make it a to go since I got a guest waiting at home. He replied with his usual smile. I see. Well, it was good seeing you. Try to visit us sometime. After all, if you marry Hinata, you'd be Hazashi's uncle. Tenten replied teasingly as Naruto blushed. Say goodbye to Uncle Naruto, Hazashi. Bye bye. Natu. Hazashi replied as he forgot to say the ru in Naruto. Naruto didn't mind, it made him happy to see that the boy was living a happy life. Naruto intended to keep his promise on changing the Hyuga for both Neji and little Hasashi's sake. After getting the dinner and returning to his apartment, Naruto began to wonder about what to do as he and Hanabi ate. With Sia, despite all the rough with Naruto, she found herself masturbating again, but just thinking of insane with Naruto. She wanted more. She continued to moan as she kept fingering herself in the bathtub and calling out Naruto's name. Naruto was standing at the Hyuga compound. No, he wasn't visiting Sia or Hanabi. Hinata hasn't even returned from her mission yet. Naruto was visiting a pair of Hyugas who were identical twins who were in main family due to their grandfather being one of the elders. These twins were alike in appearance. Their voices were different as well as their personalities. Their names were Hizuka and Bonbori. These two are only 3 months older than Naruto. They both had mid-length light brown hair that went a few inches past their necks, were roughly 5 feet, and an inch tall, had 32 c, were curvier than Hinata, and had of the light tan-colored skin compared to most Hyugas. They had their ponytail look in that mirror look. Hizuka's ponytail goes over her left shoulder and always wore a red butterfly clip on the right side of her hair, while Bonbori has her ponytail over her right shoulder and wore a blue butterfly clip on the left side of her hair. They loved to pretend to be each other to throw people off. They've been known to be devious one among the Hyuga clan. Very people could them apart. One being Sia, who they respect more than Hiashi. Hinata able to tell them apart after getting used to them. Hanabi was still learning. When Naruto came into the picture of things, they tried to trick him with their pranks after their initial meeting. Sia had them properly introduce themselves. After that meeting, they tried to trick him since they aren't comfortable with a lot of people. They dressed in casual jonin outfits, wearing their headbands around their necks and just kept their hair undone. They even matched the other's voice to throw him off by pretending to be the other. Let's watch the memory. Naruto was still 16 in this memory. Naruto was in the hallway waiting for Hinata to come out for their date. Naruto. They twins called out wearing the outfits I just mentioned. Oh, good evening, girls. Naruto replied politely with his usual smile. They used fake smiles on him. They still didn't accept Naruto. Aside from Sia, Hinata, and Hanabi, who just starting to learn how to tell them apart, they outcasted everyone else out of their lives. Even their own parents, who couldn't tell them apart. Naruto. One of them called. They were expecting him to hesitate and panic and even ask them to give him a clue, but as usual Naruto surprised them. Yes, Hizuka. He replied as Naruto looked to the sister on right. They then looked to each other. You don't think? Hizuka asked her sister. Must have been a coincidence. Bonbori replied. They said to each other as they then used their speed to look like there were shuffling, as after images from their speed could be seen. Now appearance-wise they look like they're still in the same spots, but in actuality they switched spots. Naruto. Naruto looked to the right again. What is it, Bonbori? Naruto asked as they turned around. That was our fast move and he could still tell us apart. Hizuka told her sister. Indeed. There's no way he should be able to tell that easily. Bonbori replied. Now with her being the older twin, she turned and asked Naruto. Naruto, how are you able to tell us apart? I don't really know. He replied. What do you mean you don't know? Hizuka asked. It's just for some reason I can sense who you are no matter how you hide it. Even though you two like to be devious, I don't. It's good to keep people out. Before I probably would have felt the same, but I know now keeping people out only hurts more when you leave yourselves in your own world. The more people you accept, the bigger the world seems. Was all he said to them before seeing Hinata was ready to go and took off. The twins were left speechless as they watched him leave. End flashback. Over the years the twins still tried to catch him off guard from time to time for fun, but always lost to him. They found themselves being drawn to him. In the present, Naruto was in their room and twins had their usual hairstyle and typical kimonos. Bonbori was in white and Hizuka in black. Naruto, welcome. Bonbori greeted. It has been a while since your last visit. Hizuka added. Part of their personality is usually talking in this manner since they are well known to share everything and either finish each other's sentences or add comments to the other's sentences. Some even believe the superstition that they are mentally linked. Hey, girls, how are things going for you guys? Naruto asked casually. Somewhat good. Hizuka replied first. It's hard to find love when grandfather and the other elders feel like keeping us bound in the clan. Especially when the men that are left are about twice our age or our grandfathers. Bonbori added. Perhaps asking for love when our clan rules refuse to change. Perhaps if we were born as a different clan maybe we wouldn't worry too much. Hizuka said in agreement with her sister. Naruto moved and sat between them. If you could choose you husbands, who it be? Naruto asked. They were silent and blushed that he was close to them and at the very question he asked. Well, Hizuka was hesitating and she noticed her sister was just as speechless. It's a hard question to answer. Bonbori replied. Hard to answer cause you know who but can't bring yourself to say it. As Naruto put his hands on their backs and slowly and gently moved up and down and for some reason this was making them blush and they felt their hearts beat faster. Naruto, Hizuka said as she felt her body getting hot for some reason. We really shouldn't. Bonbori trying to maintain her common sense for both her and Hizuka's sakes. Tell me who it is. I'm sure whoever it is will be lucky to have you two as beautiful wives. Loving you. Naruto's hand movements became more sensual as his words were having something of an effect on them. Cherishing you. Treating you two as two individuals instead treating you like you guys are the same, and most importantly being able to tell you apart just by looking at you two. Naruto told them as his hands moved to their butts as he groped them making them moan. Sister. Hizuka said. Yes, I know, me too. I also. We want you Naruto. They both yelled as they couldn't hold back anymore and jumped him. Bonbori kissed him first then Hizuka have her turn. They both kissed both sides of his neck leaving him kiss marks and licked his neck while Bonbori undid his Jonin vest and Hizuka undid his pants. Removing his pants and finally his shirt they both began giving his a double fellatio. I can't believe it actually worked. Maybe there's something to Pervy Sage's book and Hanabi's crazy plan after all. Naruto said in his thoughts as he thought back to 2 nights ago when he had more with Hanabi. She found the book after they finished their third orgasm. She read through it and she was aware her father has shown little interest in her mother these days. It would take time but if she planned it right and Naruto trained with this book as his guide then perhaps there was a way to make everyone happy that wanted to be with Naruto. On top of that this made it all the more easier because of the fact he is one of the last Uzumakis left from the few who were spread out across the 5 nations. That alone entitled him to the Clan Restoration Act. CRA for short. After sleeping finally her and Naruto sat down and talked. Naruto thought it was crazy there's no way he would still keep Hinata and have Harem with her sister, her mother or anyone else in the Hyuga clan. Hanabi went into detail how to make this work but he was obviously gonna have to spend what was now yesterday training and practicing the skills in Jiraiya's book. Hanabi actually had a list of Hyugas that were in love with him too in both the main and branch families. After Hanabi went to get her mother and told her everything she saw and convinced her with what was gonna be needed to be done. She actually agreed. So, Naruto spent all yesterday reading the book practicing the techniques, actually learning that Jiraiya actually discovered you can use chakra to amplify your drive and even learned he created a jutsu that can actually help increase a woman's chances of getting pregnant by increasing her ovulation process. Naruto was driven out of his thoughts as the twins were now taking turns ing him off while the other licked his ball sack. Oh crap. That feels good. Naruto said. Let's use RS Hizuka. Bonbori tells her sister. Okay, Bonbori. I'm sure Naruto will love it. The sisters took off their kimonos, bras, and panties then double sandwiched his manhood in between their s as they licked both sides of the tip. Oh god, double pleasure. Their tongue techniques are awesome and the softness of their s and their nipples touching my is too much. Naruto said in his thoughts as he had a pleasured look on his face. Naruto is about to cum Bonbori. Hizuka said as she chuckled at Naruto's reaction. Indeed he is, Hizuka. His milk is coming out. Bonbori replied as she opened her mouth. I'm coming. Naruto yelled as he shot his load like a fountain. The twins had their mouths open, got some in their mouths and swallowed it, and the rest splashed on the face. Hizuka, you got cum all over your face. Bonbori told her sister. As do you, Bonbori. Hizuka replied as they kissed each other and licked the cum off each other's faces, and Naruto was getting hard from watching them do that. Naruto, why made you do this now? Yes, what would Lady Hinata say to this? She asked. Well, I was thinking it was time I rebuild the Uzumaki clan. Hinata can't do it all by herself now. Naruto replied as he pulled them in for a hugging embrace. I know Hinata, Hanabi, and even Lady Sia would want us all to be a happy family. Naruto told them. They feel of his manly arms made them feel safer than their own parents who have given up on trying to get them to behave right, and their grandfather was no better. He would either give them up to some noble or have them be used as baby factories. Are you interested in healing me make a new clan? He asked them. They wouldn't get be his legal wife, but he would love them all the same. Yes. They both yelled. Naruto. Bonbori called him as she kissed him deeply. This went on for a minute till Hizuka couldn't wait anymore. No fair. Hizuka whispered. They both looked to her as she pouted and made watery eyes at them. That's not fair, Bonbori. I want to make out with Naruto too. I'm sorry, Hizuka. Let's switch. Bonbori replied as they high-fived and yelled, tag. With that, Hizuka had her turn to make out with Naruto. Bonbori was now positioning herself over Naruto's. Hizuka positioned herself over Naruto's face. Bonbori always tried to be the strong older twin, but she was a little scared of losing her virginity. Hizuka held her hand to give her some confidence as she slowly lowered herself. She winced in pain at the loss of her virginity. After a minute she moved her hips up and down and moaned at the new pleasure. Hizuka was too as Naruto licked her skillfully after his practice with Sia and Hinata yesterday. Ah, ah, ah. Hizuka. Bonbori called out her sister's name as she was about to come, as was Naruto. She reached out her hand. Ha, ha, Bonbori. Hizuka called out as to reach her sister's hand and held as she orgasmed with them. I'm coming. Naruto yelled as the twins yelled loudly with their orgasm. Ah, the both yelled. Naruto's cum. Naruto's baby seed. Bonbori yelled, feeling happy. Is it my turn? Hizuka asked as Naruto got on top of her. Hizuka rested head on Bonbori's lap for comfort. Here I go. Naruto said as he entered her slowly. Hizuka winced in more pain, but Naruto and Bonbori took a hand to make her feel okay. I'm okay. Please, give me a baby too, Lord Naruto. Hizuka said with tears in her eyes and decided to start calling him that as he would be the only man she would follow. Naruto started thrusting slowly and picked up the pace. Ah, ha, ah, ah, oh god. This is so amazing, she said. She then felt someone ing on her left then her right. She looked and saw her sister and Naruto were ing on both her s. Ah, please. You're both driving me crazy. Naruto's pace was getting faster as Hizuka felt the tip of his breaching the entrance to her womb. It's coming. I'm coming, she yelled. Hizuka. Naruto called out as he released his sperm in her. That was amazing, sister. Hizuka said. Yes, Bonbori. It was. Bonbori replied as she kissed her sister. They both kissed Naruto again and made out with him after taking their turns. Any chance we can do more? Preferably at the same time, Hizuka asked. I got something. Naruto had made one shadow clone for now. The clone took Hizuka and Naruto got Bonbori. They got behind them and thrusted in there, from behind as the twins held each other's hands as they moaned in ecstasy and started making out with each other. They thrusted and thrusted faster and faster. We're coming. Both Narutos yelled as the twins orgasmed at the same time. Naruto. We love you. They both yelled as they felt more cum in them. Naruto's clones were now capable of impregnating any woman, whereas before the sperm they fired felt real but were blanks when it came to impregnating them. Apparently Jiraiya spent a lot of time trying to improve on making the shadow clones more real for a situation like this. After that they rested. The winds each took an arm to sleep on as a pillow. Outside, Hanabi and Sia were watching the whole thing with their Byakugan to make sure it all went well. Unfortunately, it made them hot inside. They wished so badly they got join him, but as the saying goes, good things come to those who wait. So who else is next, Hanabi? Sia asked as she looked on the list. Let's see. Oh, this is too perfect. Hanabi said. She'll be in her office today. Hanabi told her mother. Oh, yes. I have noticed how she can be a bit clumsy with her work at the mere mention of Naruto. She'll be really helpful as well. Sia said as her and Hanabi began making preparations for the next Hyuga. As we go to one of the branch family houses, this girl lived alone since her father died in the Fourth War and her mother died from a mysterious disease that she believed was created by someone within the clan. Hence her reason why are now seeing a short-haired Hyuga with black hair with small glasses on her head that had red frames and was wearing a simple black training outfit with a white lab coat over it, and was looking through her microscope. Okay, this looks promising, she says as she got up and stretched from working all morning and pulled down her glasses. She heard Ko speaking with one of the few Hyuga men alive mention that Naruto just came in to visit. Then went to talk about their families as both Ko and other Hyuga companion were expecting their first children. Ko's was due in a month and his friend's was due in 3 months. The mention of Naruto made her trip over herself as knocked over her bottle of water over herself and it spilled over her. Oh, man, why do I always get like this? She said to herself. The day was far from done for Naruto as the harem plan has begun and the twins were just won over. After resting, Naruto got up and let the twins sleep peacefully and kissed them on their heads as they slept happily, having happy dreams. After putting his clothes on, stepped outside in hallway. He turned and saw Sia waiting for him. That was quite a performance, she said as she just up and kissed him. So, you were watching all that? Naruto asked as he blushed. Yes. It got me so hot, Sia said seductively. Mother, this isn't the time. He needs to take a quick bath and get ready, Hanabi told her. Besides, I believe you have your role with the twins, she said. All right then. Have fun, Naruto, Sia replied as she gave Naruto a slap on his butt. She then entered the twins' room to talk to them about the plan her and Hanabi have worked out. So, who exactly is next? Naruto asked Hanabi as they made their way to the shower room. As Naruto was cleaning himself off, Hanabi went into detail about the next target. Kasumi Hyuga. She is one of the few Hyuga to actually study the field of medicine after learning Gentle Fist. It wasn't common for them to do this, but Sia was able to convince Hiyashi to let her go. She had 26 BS.A but petite and slim compared to Naruto, was dedicated to her work, and is very clumsy at times when she realized she was in love with Naruto. Hanabi handed him his clothes minus the vest. Needless to say, she was enjoying his body get cleaned. She then told him where to find her, and that gave Naruto some ideas for when it comes time to close the deal. Speaking of Kasumi Hyuga, she had decided to get back to work to get her mind off the fact Naruto was visiting, but that was proving to be difficult. Naruto. She thought back to how she first met him a year ago. Flashback. She was walking down the streets carrying quite a few books. Had she used her Byakugan, she could have avoided bumping into Naruto. Her books were all over the place and her glasses fell off. While she was able to learn Gentle Fist, her Byakugan wasn't all that strong, mostly cause she became nearsighted at a young age, and that left the elders thinking she was worthless. Ah, I'm so sorry. Oh, where are my glasses? Here you go. Naruto handed them to her as she put them and saw the most handsomest man in her life. His blonde hair that was like a sun, blue eyes that you could get lost in, and a smile that made her blood rush. But after she snapped out of it and realized this was Hinata's boyfriend. Ah, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you, Lord Naruto, she says in a hurry as the first sign of a clumsy maiden in love at first sight happened and bumped into his head. As she panicked and tripped over herself, and like the natural ladies' man he was still unaware of being, he caught her like a majestic prince she read in a book when she was a kid. You okay? And why are you calling me Lord Naruto? He asked. Yes, I'm alright and I call you that cause you're dating Lady Hinata and you're the son of the 4th Hokage and saved the world from Madara Uchiha. For me to call you anything else would be disrespectful to you. She replied. Well, I guess that makes sense but I don't really feel comfortable being called that. Naruto told her. Then what am I supposed to call you? She asked. Just Naruto is fine, he said with a smile. Here, let me help you pick these up. Naruto had helped her pick up her books and took her home so she didn't have to carry it all on her own. Seeing Naruto and Hinata so happy really made her wish it was her next him instead of Hinata. Naruto was always nice to her and even offered his assistance with shadow clones when needed him to move heavy stuff. End of flashback. Kasumi got up and pulled a book on the biology. She heard a knock. Come in, she said. She didn't even look at the door. How you doing there? She dropped the book and saw it was Naruto. Naruto, she yelled. Been a while, Naruto said as he walked in and closed the door. Yes, I trust your visit is going well today. She replied, trying to hide her blush as she fixed her glasses in a manner similar to Karen. Yep, definitely has it bad, Naruto said in his thoughts as he kept in mind how to read a woman's body language. She was only a year younger than him but she definitely had a petite figure that was cute. They sat down as Naruto was trying to play his cards right. He thought about Jiraiya's book on to handle this situation. First he had to get her to calm down, next sit down and casually talk while slowly building up to the moment. After Naruto did that he started casually talking to her. So, how are things? They're okay, I guess. I'm still looking for the cause of my mother's death. She replied. You still believe someone murdered her through a disease? Naruto asked. I do. My mother was so kind and was always healthy. I know someone had to have killed her. She was determined to find out the truth. She reminded him of Sasuke a bit. He wasn't gonna let her get consumed by her hatred. He wrapped his arm around her. Listen, I can't stop you from searching for the one you believe is responsible, but I want you to know this. Naruto put his hands on her shoulders and got her attention. The suddenness of it all surprised her, made her blush, and actually made him look even more manly. If you fall into darkness and let your hate consume you, I promise you I will do everything I can to pull you back. I will never let someone precious to me fall into that situation again. He told her. He cared about her that much. Kasumi, I've give this a lot of thought and I decided to rebuild the Uzumaki clan. I am going to use the CRA. I want you to be a part of it. This was basically asking her for her hand. What? But are you sure? I mean, I'm short and I don't think I'm that pretty. Before she could finish her remarks, he kissed her. After getting over the initial shock, she accepted the kiss. Would Lady Hinata be okay with it? She asked. I got a feeling she will be. Naruto replied as he moved his hands to her waist, undoing her robes and opened to see her wearing white laced bra and panties. Naruto, this is embarrassing. No need to be embarrassed. You look beautiful, he said as he kissed her neck, making her moan as he undid the bra and started removing her panties. She was enjoying this. Before she knew it, Kasumi was completely keeping her seated on her chair. Naruto spread her legs open and started licking her. Ah, ha, Naruto. That's. Call me Dr. Naruto, he said to her with his fox-like grin. She wasn't sure if it was she wanted to or because the heat of the moment. She went ahead and said. Dr. Naruto, I feel strange, she said. Really? Naruto asked as he continued to lick. Where exactly? I can't say it. She replied. I can't help you if you don't tell me where you feel strange. Naruto told her. Kasumi was so embarrassed, no one has ever made her feel this way. She said with an embarrassed tone. Really? Now, maybe I should inspect it. Naruto said as had his index finger ready. Please do, she told him. He inserted his finger in her, having it explore and feel everything inside as he went in and out in a slow pace, and that was making Kasumi moan quite a bit. I can't seem to find the problem. Maybe I should use 2 fingers. Naruto told as he switched to his middle and ring fingers and inserted them inside and used his right hand to grope her left. Ah, doctor. It feels so good, she said. Naruto then leaned in on her right and ed on it. My s feel so good. Oh god, I'm coming, coming, coming. She yelled as she arched her back from the orgasm. She never had one like that before. Naruto was using his chakra from his fingers and hands to amplify the pleasure she was feeling. Oh, my, I think you may need an injection. Naruto said jokingly as Kasumi wanted him inside her. Please, doctor, inject your special medicine in me. She said seductively while spreading open her. Naruto removed his pants and put them on the table. Slowly entered her and she winced from the pain of her now lost virginity. After the pain subsided, Naruto lifted her up with his arms under her legs and hands on her while she wrapped her arms around his neck. Ah, ha, ha. Naruto. Naruto. More. Naruto was thrusting deeply inside her. She was gripping him tightly and she felt more and more wet. I can't take it. Kasumi. You are so insanely tight. It's amazing. Really. I'm so happy. She yelled as his powerful thrust just made her come again. I just came, again. Such a bad patient. Coming before her doctor. Naruto said as he went through his pants real quick and pulled out an anal vibrator given to him by Hanabi. Apparently Sia had more toys hiding than she let on. Naruto turned it on and inserted it in her butthole as he continued to thrust inside her. Oh god, she yelled. This was her first anal experience. My feel so good. She yelled as she now in ecstasy. She started drooling from the last two orgasms followed by this sudden toy being inserted in Harem. Naruto's still ramming her hard and fast. You're making me go crazy, doctor. Kasumi yelled. Are you ready for my injection? Naruto asked as he was at his limit. Yes. Give it to me, doctor. Give me your baby injection. She yelled as Naruto gave one last hard thrust and released his sperm deep with her womb as she orgasmed hard at the same time. I came as he released it in me. It feels so amazing, she said in her thoughts. I promise. I'll help find the one who killed your mom. Naruto whispered in her ear. Naruto, I love you, she said as she kissed him. Naruto laid her down on her bed to sleep. Now he had to go meet with Hanabi. He got to the meeting point and waited for her. So how did it go? Naruto turned and saw her coming in. That's another yes, he replied. Perfect. Listen, I just got word Big Sister is on her way home with her team and will be back by the end of this week. Hanabi told him. That doesn't leave much time. He told her. Nope, but luckily father and the elders return 2 days after she comes back. By then everything will be done. Hanabi replied. So who's next on that list of yours? He asked. The only branch member who could consider Neji's equal in terms of talent. She is the type of girl who only shows interest in men that are stronger than her. I guess if things weren't like how choose the Hokage, she would be nominated as a potential bride for a male clan head, but like I said, she's only interested in men that are stronger than her. The only one she's batted an eye on. Let me guess, me. He interred. Well, you and Sasuke, even she is 2 years older than you guys. But seeing as how you two are the strongest in the village. Hanabi replied. So, I gotta win her over completely? Naruto asked. Exactly. She replied. Never thought I was a potential eye candy for Momoyo Hyuga. Naruto said as he prepares for tomorrow to win over the one known as the dragon of the Hyuga clan. Well, if I can tame the 3 lions of the Hyuga clan. Referring to Hinata, Hanabi, and Sia. I think I can tame a dragon. That's true, but for now. Naruto turned to see Sia had snuck in and Hanabi had just undressed with her mother. How about a quickie? I've been holding it in all day long. Sia said seductively. Me too. Hanabi said as she started ing him off and Sia was ing him off. Naruto, give me a baby too. Sia begged. I can't help but want one from you too. Please. She begged him. Naruto smirked and used the ovulation jutsu on her. Let me go first, Hanabi. Sia begged her daughter. Ah, yes. Sia yelled as she missed the feel of Naruto's heart inside her. She moved her hips as Naruto laid back and massaged her s with his hands. Yes, this is the best. Sia then felt something entering her hole. Huh, Hanabi, she said as she noticed Hanabi wearing a strap on. Where did you get that? The twins had it in their room for some reason. Apparently they practiced anal last month. Hanabi explained as she thrust it into her mother's. Next thing they knew, the door slid open and they noticed the twins and Kasumi there. See, sister, I told you someone took it. Hizuka told Bonbori, looking really turned on at the sight. My indeed so, dear sister. Bonbori replied. It's not fair Lady Sia and Lady Hanabi get Naruto all themselves like this. Kasumi complained as she ran to them. Lord Naruto, don't forget about us. Hizuka yelled. It's not fair to leave out the rest of us, Lord Naruto, Bonbori added. In that case let's go somewhere more quiet. Naruto said as got them to put their hands on him as he weaved a hand sign to use the flying thunder god jutsu, Hiraishin jutsu, and were transported to his apartment. Normally any man would be worn out, but when they're Naruto and read Jiraiya's book you learn how give yourself almost an infinite amount of Saint Mamina. By using his chakra mode to create the amplified clones who were really hard up and ready to impregnate their Hyuga mates. One after the other each girl was taken and being silly. Kasumi was riding a Naruto clone in a cowgirl position while the twins were doing the reverse cowgirl with their clones, and the fourth clone took Hanabi's anal virginity since she was busy working on her mother. Loud moans were all over the place. Oh, God, Lord Naruto is amazing. Hizuka yelled. More, Lord Naruto. Thrust deeper inside me. Bonbori yelled in her ecstasy. Naruto, you're so amazing. Kazumi yelled. No. Don't play with my, she said as her clone was finger her hole. My feels so good. I can't believe it feels so good while doing my mother's, Hanabi yelled as she was really enjoying the thrust. Deeper Naruto. Sia yelled. You too, Hanabi. Make your mother feel good. She yelled. Ah, she moaned as she felt Naruto ing on her s. Naruto. Oh God. That feels so good. You look like a baby drinking my milk even though I'm not lactating yet. Sia said in her ecstasy. I want it in me, Naruto. Hanabi yelled at her clone as she then pulled out and took off the strap on and had her clone thrust in her. Ah, right there. Nothing beats this feeling, Hanabi said as she had a face full of ecstasy. Ah, let's wrap this up, boys. Naruto yelled at his clones to release their loads. The ladies moaned loudly at the sudden pickup in pace. I'm coming. They all yelled and felt the sperms released deep inside each of them. The clones carried their partners to Naruto and laid them next to him as Sia stayed on top of him. I'm gonna be a mother and a grandmother soon. Sia mumbled to herself as she felt satisfied. Naruto couldn't wait to get Hinata in on this when she returned, but first he would need all his strength to win over Momoyo tomorrow. Naruto slept like a boss with beautiful Hyuga women in his arms and one being a hot MILF sleeping on top of him. Tomorrow was gonna be the toughest Hyuga to conquer yet. In a forest area we see Team 8 making their way back to the village. Hinata was in the lead, excited to return home and be with Naruto. It would still be a few more days before they reached the village. They made their way into a village that was on the way home to rest for the night. After this, all that would be left is to travel the remaining few days on the road and camp out at night till they reached home. Kiba wore a newer style of his old bulk coat and Shio got himself another overcoat with a hood, and this one was brown colored this time. Apparently he wanted to try a look to make people notice him more instead of being forgotten or ignored like most people seem to do. Hinata was now wearing a short-sleeved jacket that was thinner than her old one and wore purple pants that showed her figure with her jacket well. She still wears her headband around her neck. Her hair was a few inches longer. She no longer had any problems showing her figure since dating Naruto made her feel so confident in herself. She wondered what Naruto was up to as her teammates pointed out a local restaurant to chow down at before checking in at the town inn. Back in the Leaf Village, Naruto had just entered the Hyuga compound. After Hanabi pointed him in the right direction on where to find Momoyo Hyuga. He was headed for the training dojo and he heard battle yells. He opened the slide door slightly to see Momoyo Hyuga in the middle of her training. Among the Hyuga females she was the most well endowed. Her chest size was about 46 Ds, She trains daily and was well built. Her skin was smooth and her brown hair was about the same length Hinata had when she was 16. At this moment she was wearing a white martial arts robe. Naruto's perverted eyes noted how her S moved and bounced with each movement she made. Her abilities compared to Hinata, who elegant movements and specialized in defense, or Hanabi, who was showing to be skilled with flexibility, or even Neji, who was a natural genius and excelled at speed with his precise strikes. Momoyo was an all-powerhouse. As a child, Momoyo was born with the highest amount chakra the Hyuga had ever seen. The elders moved her from her home to help her control her chakra at the age of 3. Her training was about control in her early years, cause if left unchecked she could break a few ribs from just a tap from her palm. After gaining control she didn't have worry about accidentally hurting others but was still feared even among her peers. Like Hinata's twin lion fist, she created her version after seeing Hinata use it, and hers formed dragon heads. Despite being older and more powerful, Hinata was the only one she respected as an opponent, since she was the first one to actually not run away from her when asking for a sparring partner. Hinata actually defeated her twice was something to brag about in Momoyo's book. Momoyo was waiting for the right man to actually be able to beat her, so she trained hard till a man worthy and prove himself to be stronger will she give herself to him. She heard of Naruto and Sasuke's potentials, but Naruto was with Hinata and Sasuke was about as fun as a trip to the library. Her personality was the type of girl who likes to do some exciting things in order to burn out her excessive amount of energy, otherwise she gets frustrated and bored. She had then activated her Byakugan, then noticed someone at the door. "Come on in. If this a proposal challenge, then show me how much of a man you are," she said proudly. Naruto opened the door, which surprised her a bit. "Naruto, why are you here?" "Well, if that proposal also applies to the CRA, I'll be more than happy to show you how much of a man I am," Naruto replied to her with confidence. "Why the sudden change of heart to use the CRA?" Momoyo asked him. "Well, let's just say I've given it a lot of thought and decided to rebuild the Uzumaki clan. I think you'll find we Uzumakis have a lot of stamina in a lot of departments," Naruto replied to her with his usual smile. "And Lady Hinata?" she asked him. "I plan to let her know when she returns," he replied. "And if she says no?" she asked her final question. "Oh, trust me, I got a certain pair of eyes working that little scenario out," he replied as she looked into his eyes to be sure he wasn't messing with her. That kind of backfired when she looked into them and made her heart beat a few beats. "Okay. If I win, then I don't join you, since you wouldn't be much of man if you can't take me down. If you win and prove to me how much of a man you really are," she squeezed her S together, "I'll let you consummate our agreement right here. In other words, I'll let you go down on me," she replied to his offer suggestively. Naruto got his game face on after slamming his right fist into his left palm. "Alright, let's get it on." They both took fighting positions. Right of FTHE bat, Momoyo unleashed all of her massive chakra. At this point in her life, her chakra was so massive that it looked like she was in a cloak like the one Naruto had when he couldn't control Kurama's chakra. "I think I better use chakra mode. At least with my increased speed I can avoid taking too many hits." Naruto could tell she was gonna give her all, and he knew she would consider it an insult if he held back any of his power. "Wow, so that's the famous chakra mode I've been hearing about. I never got to see it up close since I had to stay behind and protect the village. The chakra you're giving off, it's warm, oh god, it makes me hot." Quote. She said the last statement in her thoughts since Naruto passed the first part of her test. Now all that was left was to see if he can actually beat her. Her Byakugan was activated and locked on Naruto. Naruto vanished with his increased speed, but to his surprise she blocked him and countered. "Gentle fist," she yelled as Naruto didn't have time to dodge, so he blocked and got pushed back. Some of the chakra removed from his forearms but quickly recovered from it. "Not bad. I would been disappointed if that was all you were capable of," she told him with a grin on her face. "I got plenty of power to spare," Naruto replied as he forgot the original object and started getting into the fight, since it's not every day he can fight in chakra mode. Sasuke has been the only one to fight him in that form. Momoyo was impressed and she had to admit the fact he could recover like this was a turn on. She got distracted that Naruto took the opening and punched her stomach. It hurt, but it was the first a man actually treated her like an opponent instead of a potential bride. She was able to be herself. She struck back and Naruto struck back. Punch after gentle fist, they were delivering blow after blow and still going. This is awesome, but I'm not done yet. She yelled as she called on the move she learned from Hinata. Twin Dragon Fists. I see you were able to learn Hinata's technique. He told her as he prepared a planetary Rasengan. Yeah, I gotta hand it to her for coming up with the method. She really is a kind girl for teaching it to me. She replied. Time to see if you got the balls to win it. Bring it on. Naruto yelled as they both went for a direct attack. Planetary Rasengan. Twin Dragon Fists. She yelled as the attacks collided, causing an impact explosion that made a mess of the dojo. Naruto's chakra mode was done and Momoyo was on her left knee and her martial arts robe was somewhat torn to the point where you could see cleavage. You win. Awesome. Naruto said as he lost his balance and fell on top of Momoyo. She saw how sweaty and exhausted he was with his Jonin top ripped apart where she could see his toned pecs and abs. They were breathing heavily, only inches apart from kissing. Oh, God, you made feel so hot, Naruto. She said as she wrapped her legs around his waist and started grinding against his crotch. I think I found the man I've been waiting for. I can tell I'll give birth to strong and healthy kids with you. She said to him as she was in extreme heat. Naruto was getting hard from the way she was talking, breathing, and grinding herself on his crotch. Then consider yourself a part of the Uzumaki clan. He replied as he kissed her passionately and she kissed back as their tongues were fighting for control of each other. Naruto was groping her left with his left hand and was grope her with his right hand as she continued grinding against his crotch. They both ripped their tops off and Naruto just ripped apart her bra with his teeth, and she loved this animal-like behavior he was displaying as he then charged and ed on her 2s at the same time by moving the nipples together and ed on both of them. Ah, God, yes. You're a really beast, she yelled. She was enjoying the rough treatment. She wanted to taste him as she flipped him over and she was on top. She opened up his pants and got a look at his. She looked like she was in love as she started ing on it. MMMMPH, MMMPPHH. She moaned as she felt Naruto licking and fingering, hereafter ripping open her pants and panties. They kept going until Naruto and Momoyo hit their limits. I'm coming, he yelled. MMMMPPPPHHHH. She moaned as she orgasmed and felt his cum shoot in his mouth and was swallowing it all down like drinking at a water fountain. PWWWAAHHH, that was delicious. I can see why Lady Hinata loves you so much now, she said seductively as her covered her left eye in a Y manner. Let's cut to the main course, Naruto said as they both were now completely as they were both in a seated position and felt him enter her. Even though she felt her hymen break and was now bleeding, she was enjoying the pleasure too much to care as she was looking crazy from his and feeling his chakra from his body. Naruto was thrusting fast, hard, and rough and Momoyo loved it. She knew they were both acting like animals in heat and it was awesome to her and him because this was the craziest session he was having yet. Naruto then moved into a spooning position. He got under her arm as he ed on her. Deeper. Ah. Ha. Ha. Go deeper. Harder. Faster. Oh. That's it, she said as felt Naruto piercing her womb. They then switched into doggy style. Ha. Yes. Like that. Thrust in me like that. Ah. 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 Talking like that after a battle. You're like a bitch in heat, Naruto told her as he nibbled on her ear while massaging her as his thrusts were getting faster. Yes. I'm a bitch. I'm your bitch in heat, she yelled. You're getting bigger. I'm almost there, Naruto said. Come inside, she replied. Yeah, I'll make you give birth to lots of puppies then, Naruto told her as he then licked her ear and switched back to nibbling it and started pinching her nipples like she was a cow. Ah, I'm coming, 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 coming. She kept saying rapidly as she felt Naruto release his cum inside her and orgasmed hard. Ah! She yelled as she arched her back and was drooling from it all. That was amazing. You definitely pass my test. She said as she went limp on Naruto as for the first time in her life she was completely worn out. Naruto had stamina to spare which caught her off guard. You wanted a man stronger than you and that's what I'm gonna give you. Naruto told her as he took the missionary position. Ah! She yelled as she felt Naruto go back in her and thrusted in her even rougher than before. She was exhausted and she felt her mind beginning to go blank. Oh god, he's amazing. He's still this hard and his cum is like a lubricant. She said in her thrusts as the ecstasy look Naruto has been leaving on the other Hyuga girls. Her tongue was sticking out and was drooling non-stop. Naruto then decided to her tongue as he massaged her. His thrusts were going inside her womb now and she was feeling it. Outside the dojo, Naruto's current harem were all watching from a safe distance with their Byakugans activated. They enjoyed watching Naruto giving almost as much as receiving it from him. Since there weren't many Hyugas around these days, it was considered safe to masturbate. The twins were fingering each other. Kasumi, Sia, and Hanabi were kissing and fingering each other till they all climaxed. Back with Naruto and Momoyo. Naruto was still in the missionary position on her tongue. I'm humming, ahain. She said as her tongue was being ed on. Hahhhh. Naruto yelled as he released his cum inside her again. So full of semen. She mumbled after that third orgasm. The dojo now smelled of sweat and semen. You're mine now. I'll let Sia and Hanabi fill you in on the details. Naruto whispered to her as he got his pants back on. Really shoulda thought the whole ripping my shirt off deal. He said to himself. Here you go, Lord Naruto. Oh thanks Hizuka. Naruto said as he took a gray shirt and put it on. Wait Hizuka. Naruto turned to see it was Hizuka but she was a mess. Where's Bonbori? She's resting for a bit. She replied as we see Bonbori with Kasumi and Sia passed out. You guys were watching me again, weren't y'all? Yes. She replied and wasn't even hiding it. Naruto then closed in on her left ear and whispered and it was making Hizuka wet. I'm gonna have to punish you girls later tonight. His breath got her all hot inside. Be ready for it. Yes, Lord Naruto. She replied as she was now dripping. Naruto then turned as he saw Hanabi wobbling her way to a new set of robes for Momoyo. I'll need to punish Hanabi too. Naruto said to himself as he headed for the door since he was supposed to meet his team later today, so he needed to shower and get another shirt and his Jonin vest. For whatever reason Sasuke said he and Sakura had to make an announcement for the team. Soon as he stepped outside and closed the gate. Naruto. Ga. Naruto turned around and saw it was Tenten. In a white Chinese-style short-sleeve button shirt and black pants with black ninja tabi in her usual Chinese buns hairstyle. Tenten. Hey. He yelled in a panic. What are you doing here? She asked him. I was just visiting. He nervously replied. Where's Hazashi? Lee and Guy Sensei wanted to see him and it ended up turning into them asking to babysit to give me a break. She replied, sounding worried about her boy being watched by the two of the village's nut jobs. She then noted the shirt was a little off. She's never seen him wear a shirt like this one before, then noted the small Hyuga symbol on the left shoulder. So, where are you heading now? She asked as beknouns to them Sia was watching with her Byakugan. I was heading home and get changed to meet with my team. He replied. This is bad. It's too early for this to be known. Sia said in her thoughts and continued listening and watching. Then you won't mind if I hang out with you till then, right? She asked with a suspicious tone. I guess not. He replied. If we want this to be a success, we're gonna have to add Tenten into this. It's gonna be tricky with a last-minute addition, but I think I can think of a way. Sia said to herself as she dashed off to inform the others of the little problem that Naruto is in. As we see Naruto and Tenten walking to his place. He's hiding something. Knowing him, it usually means trouble. Tenten said in her thoughts, since whenever Naruto does something it usually means trouble for someone, not knowing she was about to be added into harem plan. Things were looking like they were about to hit the fan. Tenten then noted Naruto smelled a bit like sweat and something else. Something she couldn't put her finger on yet. He's definitely hiding something. Naruto was looking panicked. Tenten has been asking him question after question and it was getting to him. Tenten knows he's a good guy and has been a good father figure for Hazashi, but right now he was acting really weird. Why was he visiting the Hyuga compound so much lately? They finally reached his apartment. You know, I really need to get changed and meet with my team in a few. Naruto told her, hoping it would get her off his back, if at least for now. Alright then. I'll let you do your business, but seeing as how Lee and Guy Sensei offered to babysit, why don't you and I hang out tonight? She asked him. What? Where did that come from? He asked her. Oh, I just thought we should talk a little more. Tenten as she walked off. I'm not letting off that easy, Naruto. I'm gonna find out what you're hiding, she said in her thoughts. Once she was gone and out of sight, Naruto sighed in relief. Oh, man, I think she's suspicious of what's going on. This is definitely not good, he said to himself as he hit the shower and got changed. He then got a knock on the door. Coming. He opened and there was Sia. Sia, what's up? I saw your situation with Tenten and thought I should tell you the solution. She replied with her usual smile. Which is? He asked. Add her into the CRA. She replied like it was nothing. Whoa, hold on. I don't know if I can do that. I mean, Naruto was trying to rationalize this one. Neji saved him and Hinata, could he take Tenten as well? Naruto, Tenten loved Neji, but she is a woman as well. You did make a promise to Neji you'd change the Hyuga, and you are something of a father figure to Hazashi. I can see Tenten is lonely. You can fill the void in her heart, she told him with a smile. How can you even tell? Naruto asked her. From my own experience, Tenten is family with us. So I know the lonely aura when I see it. She kissed him on the lips. Just follow your instincts on this one and I'm sure Tenten will come around, she told as she took off, leaving Naruto to think. He then looked at the clock. I'm gonna be late, he said to himself as he headed out to meet with his team. Once he got to the training field, he saw Sai, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi. You're late, Naruto, Sasuke said in an outfit similar to his father's. Sai was wearing an outfit similar to his old one, except now this one covers his stomach and was short-sleeved, and Sakura for some reason was in her clothes. She looked happy for some reason, and Kakashi was still in the same outfit, except you can see he has aged a bit but still well enough to fight on missions. Sorry about that. So what's this announcement you wanted to make? He asked. Well, starting today Sakura won't be able to go on missions. Sasuke started off. Why not? Naruto asked as Sakura smiled and put her hand on her stomach. Oh, Naruto replied as he figured it out. Wow. Congratulations. Congrats, Sai told them. We're all very happy for you. Kakashi replied. Thanks. This was earlier than what we planned, but we're happy about this, Sakura told them as she took Sasuke's arm. They were all happy for them. They had a celebration lunch at the barbecue restaurant. After that they said their farewells. Naruto hoped things go this well for him later on. He went back to his apartment to relax a bit, then heard a knock on the door and got up to see it was Tenten. An hour early since it was only 6:30. Am I early? She said casually. A little, he replied as she let herself in. Come on in, I guess. Naruto as he closed the door. Tenten was checking everything in his apartment for a clue. Tenten, why are you acting as if I'm doing something wrong? What are you talking about? She denied by asking a question. Come on, Tenten, it's always easy to tell when you are suspicious of people, he replied as he took a seat on the couch. I don't do that. She thought about the time she was suspicious of others when all they were doing was a surprise party for her birthday. Anymore, she quickly added. Come on, sit down. He invited her to sit down. So why are you being suspicious of me? Sigh, I don't know. I guess the fact you've been at the Hyuga compound a lot lately, and then there's the fact you had a shirt that wasn't yours, she told him. Well, I was over there for some business, he replied. I see, she said. I was trying to keep a promise to Neji. He said where in a sense he's keeping it just doing it a little more differently. To Neji. She asked. Yeah, when I beat him at the Chunin exams I promised that I find a way to change the Hyuga. He told her as she recalled him yelling that. Have you really found a way to change it? She asked, being hopeful it gets Hazashi out of being branded with the caged bird seal. It's a bit crazy and I'm sure I can get Hinata on board. He told her, trying to slowly get Tenten into it. What is it? She asked. Tenten, are you completely happy? He asked her. She was shocked by his question. What do you mean? I love Hazashi. She replied. I know you do, but you wish Neji was here, or at the very least Hazashi had a father in his life, right? Soon as he said that, it made her think about how life could have been for Hazashi if had his father. Playing with him, seeing his first steps, seeing him say his first words. Hazashi loved to play with Naruto. There was a time after he learned to speak a little that he kept calling Naruto Papa, but Tenten corrected him on it after a month of trying, but Hazashi still sees Naruto as a father figure. She started crying at the thought. Tenten, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry. He said as he held her, trying to calm her down a bit. No, it's okay. I just try to be strong for Hazashi. She replied through her tears. You've been holding back your tears, haven't you? He told her as he caressed her and soothed her. I'm scared to fall for someone again. I miss Neji so much that it hurts to try while raising Hazashi, and it hurts to see him look sad asking me why he doesn't have a daddy. She rolled him. It's gonna be okay. Look, personally I think it's good you wanna move on. IKNW Neji wouldn't want you to be lonely. You can always keep him in your heart if you really loved him. He told her as she then looked into Naruto's eyes. Even if I fall for someone else? She asked him. Even then, he told her. Truth is, I always thought you were kind of cute in your own way. You've been a big help with Hazashi. He really looks up to you, especially when you talk about Neji to him. She told him as their faces were getting closer. No, we shouldn't. She tells him. Tenten, will you rebuild the Uzumaki clan with me? Hinata comes back in almost less than a day, so I will talk to her about all this, but you have to agree to it. He asked and explained to her. She was hesitating, but she found herself drawn to Naruto. His voice, his blue eyes, his breath. Instead of replying, she just kissed him lightly. When they parted, she wanted more and kissed him deeply. Naruto was feeling her back with his left hand as she then moved on top of him and were in a seated position making out. Naruto undid her hair buns and let her hair fall. They stopped kissing as Naruto looked at her. You look really cute with you hide down. She blushed at his remark and nervously undid her top. Naruto looked at her figure and chest. She still had a great figure despite having given birth to Hazashi. He undid the bra and helped her remove her pants and panties. Tenten removed all of Naruto's clothes and looked at his body. She started kiss it and licked his neck. Naruto was enjoying it, started groping her. Ah, Naruto. She called out as for the first time in a long while she felt like a woman again. Naruto groped the right while groping the left one. She felt his tongue going all over her nipple as he continued to on her. Naruto tried a massaging technique that make a woman lactate. This was especially effective on women who stopped feeding recently. Naruto used a small amount of chakra to affect the next thing. Tenten knew she was squirting milk again. The suddenness of it felt so good as Naruto now ed on the milking as he then did the same massage on her right. I'm lactating again. And Naruto's drinking my milk. She yelled as her right was now being milked. Naruto never tasted milk from a woman's before and he was enjoying the taste from Tenten's milk. It was getting him turned on. Oh, God, my s. They're making me cum. I'm coming. She yelled as she spread milk all over Naruto's face and sprayed her love juices all over Naruto's hard. That was amazing. She mumbled as she had orgasmed for the first time since her and Neji did it almost 3 years ago. Tenten then moved to his and began to on it. Oh God, I can taste my juices all over it. She said in her thoughts as she ed him. Tenten, this is amazing. You got an awesome tongue technique. Naruto told her as he put his hands on her head to move her head more quickly. More. he told her as Tenten obliged as then felt his cum go down her throat. So much, she said with some cum in her mouth as she then swallowed it and Naruto got her to move to him. You ready? Naruto asked her as they moved into the seated position on the couch. She nodded yes as she felt him enter her while lowering her hips. Ah, it's been so long. Tenten said the feeling of entering her was familiar news since the sensation is something she hadn't felt in a long time. God, you're so tight. Naruto her as he felt her squeezing him tightly as her hips moved at a slow starting pace and slowly picked up the pace. Man, look at you still lactating and you're as dripping wet. Naruto told her. Don't. Say that to me, Tenten replied through her moans as Naruto moved her into a missionary position and thrusted hard, fast, and deep and was nowing on her right drinking the milk again. No. You're making me go crazy. She yelled and felt so good. I'm gonna cum. Where do you want it? He asked her. Don't ask that, she replied as she was close to coming as well. Come on, tell me. Otherwise I may just stop and pull out. Naruto told her. She gritted her teeth not wanting to say it but knew Naruto wouldn't let her cum if she didn't answer. Inside. I want it inside, she admitted as Naruto lifted her lower body and pushed legs to her head and thrusted deeply and fast. Oh God, I'm coming again. Tenten. I'm coming. Naruto yelled as he released his load in her. So much cum. Neji. I think I may have fallen for Naruto. I'm gonna try to live happily with him and Hazashi. She said in her thoughts as Naruto lifted her up and called 2 shadow clones. Ready to try some more positions? Naruto asked her as the clones were just as hard as the real Naruto who was still inside her. She gave a crazed smile. Yes, she replied as she spread her for the clone that was insert his in her hole. She felt it and Naruto enter her 2 holes. Oh God, I never been double penetrated. It's so amazing, she said as she started drooling. The other clone held her jaw with his left hand while holding his with his right hand. It had her look at it as she began to lick it where she eventually started ing on it. The clone roughly thrusted into her throat and Tenten chicked a bit at first but started getting used to it as she let it go in and out of her as she moaned from the real Naruto and his clone thrusting her and her. MMMPH, 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 MMMPH. Oh if hard, highs, she said as the thrusts were getting faster and harder. God, Tentenesis awesome, a clone said. You should try her mouth. The other said. Try her milk. Naruto told them as he ed more milk on the right. MMMMMPPPHHHH. Tenten moaned even more from Naruto. Oh God, her mouth is gonna make me cum. Her too. I can't hold back. My cum from before is acting like a lubricant and Tenten is squeezing me with her. I'm about to cum. Naruto yelled. MMMMPPHH. Tenten moaned as her mind was going blank. I'm coming. I'm gonna cum. She yelled in her thoughts as her and mouth took a lot of cum from them. She swallowed every drop as Han took in every last drop just as Naruto swallowed a lot of her milk and got squirted in the face again. The clones dispersed as Tenten slept on top of him. They both slept on the couch till about 9:30. Tenten woke up. I need to get back. Hazashi is probably wondering where I am. She quickly put on her clothes while trying to fix her hair, not believing she actually slept with him. You're not ashamed, are you? He asked her. No, it's just, I feel bad that Hinata doesn't know yet. She replied as Naruto kissed her. Trust me, I got it all planned out. I'm sure Hanabi and Sia will explain it to you later. They're in on it too. She asked him. Yeah, but like I said, they'll explain it all to you. He just said. If you're sure this'll work out, then I'll trust you and Hazashi won't be branded, right? She asked him. Of course he won't. I love the kid. I'll raise him like he's mine. Naruto told her as she was heading for the door. Just as she's stepping out, Naruto and Tenten enjoyed one last kiss. Tenten headed for home. Naruto took another shower, changed into his pajamas and laid on his bed happy that he'll finally get a good night's sleep. Since tomorrow the most important part of the harem plan was returning Ham. Convincing Hinata was gonna be a long and team working process. Naruto would have to prepare for Hinata. Tenten returned home only to find Lee and Guy were gone, but Sia and Hanabi were watching Hazashi. "What are you two doing here?" she asked them. "We told the guys they could go home," Hanabi replied as she saw Hazashi wake up and saw his mother return home. "Mama," he called out and ran to her. "Oh, baby, Mama missed you today," she replied happily as she hugged her sweet boy. "So did you have fun with Naruto?" Sia said deviously, which made her blush. "Mama P way with Natu?" Hazashi asked. "Yes, we had some fun," she nervously replied to both. "Wanna P way with Natu too?" Hazashi complained. "Next time I'll take you to play with him." "Okay," she told her boy. "Yay. Now why don't we talk about how this is gonna work, especially with Hinata coming home by sunset tomorrow?" Sia said as she offered Tenten a seat. Yes, tomorrow was the day Hinata becomes a part of it all. To see how it all works out for this important event, you will need to wait and see. Now it was morning and Hinata was less than a few hours away as Naruto and his harem prepare for her arrival at the Hyuga compound. Naruto will need to play the waiting game for this one. It was now sunset. Team 8 was making their report to Tsunade. With their mission a success, Tsunade dismissed them with some time off. Kiba was excited for it. He and Ino have her in dating at the moment. Kiba was anxious for the special surprise she promised him on his return. "Maybe I'll get to lose my virginity tonight," Kiba said in his thoughts. He was pretty happy with her. Things were rough at first. He was wild guy who most would think would avoid a beauty like Ino, but the fact they are opposites for some reason made it work. Despite the rough start in the relationship, and Kiba didn't want to be like his mother who scared away his father. After a year of dating, she actually liked the excitement he brought on in her life, and he liked the fact she brought some order in his life. They found a balance in their relationship as the bottom line. It started as being a comforting friend when her father died, if you can believe it. Shino was still single. He was like the insects. He waited for the right moment to find a spouse. Right now he wasn't interested. "Alright guys, I gotta head on home. I promised to let Ino I'm back," Kiba told them. "Come on Akamaru," Kiba told his dog as he waited outside. Akamaru barked and ran with his owner. "Till next time Hinata," Shino said in his usual monotone voice as he rather walk home. "Bye Shino." Hinata waved goodbye to her teammate, unaware that Tenten was waiting around the corner with Hazashi in her arms. Soon as she passed the corner. "Hey Hinata. Welcome back," she said from behind her. "Oh Tenten. Oh hey Hazashi. How's my nephew today?" she asked him. "Good," Hazashi yelled in excitement for seeing his aunt. She then petted his head. "How are you doing Tenten?" she asked. "Oh, I'm actually doing great. I met someone," she said happily. "Really?" Hinata looked happy. She could see she still loved her cousin, but at least she's trying to find happiness in her life. "Do I know him?" she asked her. "Yeah, but I'm keeping that a secret till I know for sure it can work out," she replied. "I understand," Hinata told her. "Speaking of special someones, you going over to Naruto's place?" she asked her. "I want to, but I should really get home first home," Hinata replied. "Okay then. Have fun," Tenten told her as Hinata wondered why she emphasized fun. "Okay then. Take Tenten. Bye Hazashi." Hinata said her farewells as she begun heading home. She knew the elders and her father would return in 2 days. Hopefully Mother and Hanabi are doing okay. Hinata entered the compound after arriving. She was sad to see her clan dwindle down to so few numbers and really wished the elders would reconsider in letting go of old traditions. Especially if they want the clan to live. The compound was definitely too big for the few that are alive. The elders were already so old and would die out of old age. Hinata was looking around till she decided to head for her room and get cleaned up. She was unaware of certain people watching her in the shadows. Hinata dropped her stuff and got a change of clothes and took a bath. She enjoyed the feel of a warm bath. She then heard someone enter and saw it was Hanabi. "Hanabi. Hey sis. Welcome back," Hanabi replied. "Thanks. Where is everyone?" she asked. "They're around," as she said while sounding casual in the bath. "You got time to hang out for a bit?" she asked. "Well, yes," she replied. Hey sis, what do you think of the CRA? She asked. The Clan Restoration Act? Well, I don't think it's bad long as the person using is doing it for the right reasons. She replied. What would you do if Naruto decided to use it? She asked. Well, I guess if he'd be happy with it, but I guess it depends on his reasons. With that reply, Hanabi smirked. I see. Well, he is attractive and he is entitled to it since there aren't many Uzumakis left in the world. She replied. Anyway, I think I'm getting out now. Are you coming? Oh, right. Hinata replied since she did say she would hang out with her. They both got up as we get a good view of their bodies. They dry off and put on some robes, then fixed each other's hair. So what is it you wanted to do? Well, it's just what me and mother decided. She has a way to help Naruto change the Hyuga. A way for all of us to be a real family again. She replied. Where is mother anyway? Hinata asked as they started walking. She's talking to Naruto about it. She replied. Where in the meantime Naruto was in a dark room where the twins were ing him off and Kasumi was kissing him. They got to the dojo. Sia was sitting in with some documents in her hand. Hello mother. Hinata greeted. Where's Naruto? She asked. You just missed him. He had to go check on something for a minute. She replied. I see. Hanabi says you had something to help Naruto with changing the Hyuga. She said, trying to start the conversation. I do. Naruto just read it and is waiting for you to agree to it. She said as she handed the documents over to her. Hinata began to read over it. But, this is. Hinata not believing what she is reading. The document is Naruto getting to use the CRA and rebuild the Uzumaki clan with those of the Hyuga clan. There was a list of quite a few women in the Hyuga clan who wanted Naruto. Among those in the list was her mother. Mother, why are you? She asked as Sia answered the question. It's exactly as it looks, Hinata. Your father has long since stopped touching me. I miss the feeling of being touched and loved by a man. Naruto filled the void and I have moved on from your father. You must have noticed how awkward it's been for us. Just I know you noticed your little sister's affections for Naruto as well. She replied as Hinata noticed Hanabi's name on the list as well. She noted her mother's words in how she used them. Mother, did you? Hinata was not believing it. Her mother and little sister slept with Naruto. She was almost going to cry till her mother and Hanabi hugged her. Hinata, Naruto is entitled to it. Naruto agreed to it cause he wants all of us to be happy. Sia told her. All of us? She asked. Yes. We were all sad and lonely. Naruto is like the sun who shines on us. With Naruto we can all find a new way to rebuild our clan into one better than before. Those who want to stay as the Hyuga are allowed to stay, but there will no longer be two families. Sia explained as she soothed her bit by bit. Just the door from behind Sia opened and revealed it to be Naruto with Bonbori, Hizuka, Kasumi, and Momoyo behind him. Hinata, I wasn't sure about it either. But your mom and Hanabi were showing me at bad things have been getting. I want to keep my promise to Neji in changing the Hyuga. I want everyone to be happy. I can't do this without you. Naruto told her as he extended his hand to her and had a little black box on it. I want you to be my wife. He told her. Your wife, she said as if hypnotized by his words. You will be my one and only wife. Everyone here will be in our family helping rebuild the Uzumaki clan. He told her. She would be his legal wife. She was slowly moving her hand to it. Hinata, Naruto is asking for your hand in marriage. You don't want him to be sad to you. Sia told her. Well, if she says no then I can be his legal wife. Momoyo said as if to push her buttons which seemed to be working. Hinata reacted a bit. One thing Momoyo could see one thing clearly. Hinata loved Naruto very much and she would not never allow herself to be number 2 in the CRA. She only needed one more push. Naruto. She called out as she turned his face to her and made out with him. Hinata sees this and was reacting at the sight. No fair Momoyo. Hizuka and I won't be his legal wives. Bonbori complained. No. She mumbled as Hanabi walked to Naruto noticing the reaction. But the whole plan wouldn't be as effective without an heir to the main family. So if sis says no, I'll fill in the part of the legal wife. Hanabi said as she pulled Naruto down and made out with him while touching the box that still contained the engagement ring. No, Hinata yelled as everyone looked at her. Naruto was mine first. I fell in love with him first. I'm only one who can be his wife. She yelled with so much confidence and ran to Naruto and kissed him passionately, which was a real turn on for Naruto. They had really heavy makeout session. After breaking for some air, Naruto opened the box and showed the engagement ring. The very same one Kushina had when Minato proposed to her. A simple design with ring made of silver plant designs on the rings where it connected to the diamond represent the camellia blossom. A representation of how despite the harem Naruto was completely devoted to Hinata. The clear diamond petals represent her and Naruto was Thankx aka the holder of the petals was him. Hinata was so happy for it, then she noted how everyone was happy and envious of Naruto's devotion to her. Maybe there's always room to share. She said that got their attention. Maybe each petal can represent us. She said. Lady Hinata. Sis. Oh, Hinata. They all called out happy she accepted them. They all applauded as Naruto took another kiss. Hinata, why don't we have the wedding and consummate it all in one night? Sia suggested, which confused everyone. 20 minutes later. Everyone was waiting on Sia and Hinata and the door opened and there came Hinata in a wedding dress. Very short skirt where you can see the white lace panties, white skin tight stockings, the torso piece was very seductive which revealed showed a lot of her cleavage and wore tay head piece on her head. A little bit of her hair was braided by Sia. Hinata walked to Naruto like a real bride walking down the aisle. This wasn't the official thing yet but it suited the mood they were having in Saya's mind. Hinata was now in front of Naruto. They were gonna do it in front of her family. Wouldn't have mattered if they left since Naruto knew they were gonna peek with their Byakugan anyway. They made out deeply and Naruto was groping her with his hands making her moan as she slipped her hand into the robe he was wearing and started stroking him. The girls were enjoying the show. Naruto. Hinata called out as she got on her knees and was now giving him a blow job. This her first time giving him one since her technique was a bit sloppy. Sia walked to her daughter. Hinata, I know you want to please him but there's no need to be so forceful on yourself. When giving a blow job you need to start slowly. She explained. Hinata tried her following her mother's advice. That's it, but don't take it all just yet. Start at the tip and give it a quick kiss. Hinata listened as she kissed the tip and licked it a bit. Atta girl. Now slowly take it in your mouth and move in and out. Sia told her as Hinata moved in and outing Naruto off while moving her tongue on his. See, Naruto is enjoying it. She told her as Hinata took a look at how Naruto really was enjoying it a lot better than her sloppy technique. She kept going and followed the last part of her mother's advice and picked up the pace. Ah, oh god Hinata. Naruto said in his moans as he put his hand on her head and started thrusting into her mouth, gonna come. Naruto said as he was gonna pull out but Hinata put her hands on his hips to let him know not to pull out. Gah! Naruto yelled as he released his first load into her mouth. It came so suddenly that had a gag reflex happen as only a little bit was swallowed and the rest was puked out. She was coughing a bit. I'm sorry. Hinata wanted to make him happy. It's okay Hinata. It was your first time doing that. You gotta get used to it. He told her and kissed her. Naruto cleaned her off and removed her soaked panties and laid her down on the floor. You ready? He asked after taking off his robe and Hinata pulled down the top of her skimpy wedding dress to her to him. Everyone knew she was well endowed. Not as big as Momoyo or Sia but went perfectly well with her curves. Naruto was now teasing her by rubbing his over her. Please, put it in, Naruto. She told him. She couldn't wait anymore. All right then, he replied as he smiled at her. She felt him enter her slowly. Ah, Naruto, she said as she can't help moan for him. She missed him being inside her just as Naruto missed the feeling of being inside Hinata. Yeah, Naruto started thrusting hard inside her. Ah, ha, oh god. You've gotten so at this. She told him through her moans as she felt Naruto hitting her womb. Naruto's technique greatly improved and he was making her feel so good and he just made her come from just his thrusts and she loved it. She crossed her legs over his hips and wrapped her arms around his neck. They made out a bit through the thrusts. The other girls were getting turned on and loved watching him giving it. For them it was a good way to warm up for him. Naruto was reaching his limit for this round. I'm gonna come, he told her. Inside. I want it inside. I want to give birth your baby. She yelled. I'm coming. Hinata. Naruto called out as he released it all inside her. She had a satisfied look on her face as she felt his seed shooting into her womb. The baby is coming inside, she said. Naruto gave her a kiss on the forehead. We're not done yet, Hinata. He told her as that was the signal the other girls were desperately waiting for as they took off their robes and were all where at this point Tenten finally showed up after asking Lee to watch him for a little while and Naruto made shadow clones. The real Naruto continued with Hinata. 4 clones joined him. Each girl had quite a few clones giving them that they've been craving so badly. Hinata had her first double penetration. She had to off a clone while yanking on the other 2 and working a rhythm to switch out between them. MMMMPH, MMMPH. Hinata moaned and was now in complete bliss. Sia was lifted by 2 clones double penetrating her while each took a to on. Yes, 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 you two are making me crazy. And I love it. Sia yelled as she just orgasmed and the clones were still doing her hard. Hanabi was on the floor being thrusted into by 1 clone while hand stroking 1 clone and ing off another while switching back and forth. The clones put their tips in front of her mouth and she licked them off skillfully as the clone thrusting into her lifted her hips a bit higher and thrusted deeper and faster. Ha, yes, right there, she told the clone. The twins were sharing their clones. They were being double penetrated while stroking 2 and sharing 1 clone to off on and licking it. So good Lord Naruto. Hizuka said. Yes, sister. Keeping licking him. Bonbori told her sister as they now took turns ing the clone off while speeding up their strokes and the clones picking up the pace of their thrusts. Kasumi was in a bridge-like position. 1 clone was thrusting her while the other thrusted her into her mouth. Kasumi was always curious about this position. Being so petite it was easy to pull off. God look at her. She's about as shy as Hinata and is doing this kind of thing with us. 1 clone said. I know. It's such a freaking turn on. The other replied as the thrusts got faster. With Momoyo, well she was into the roughest possible. She had about 6 clones using her. She was ing on 2 of them, and had 2 of the clones double penetrate her. The bottom clone got her and the top clone had her while keeping her legs open for the top clone and the bottom clone held them open from her thighs. The last 2 clones were using 1 each to thrust into. Yep, her s were big enough for a 1-tit job. Yes. More. Do me more. She yelled. Tenten being spooned with her leg lifted up and ing off another clone. The clone thrusting into her made her lactate again and was drinking more of her milk. Oh, God, he's drinking so much of my milk, she said in her thoughts as she kept ing off the other clone. And it feels so good, she continued saying. The clones in Naruto were enjoying the girls thrusting into their harem and making them feel good. They were all hitting their limits as all the Narutos shot more of their baby seed into their women and released all they had on the girls and in their holes. The girls all orgasmed and felt like they were fireworks exploding on Tanabata. Naruto, we love you, they all yelled as they were covered sperm and their pussies filled with Naruto's seed. The clones dispersed and Naruto was exhausted. He was still getting used to this. Hinata slept on top of his right chest and Momoyo took the left chest, while Hanabi, Sia, Tenten took his left shoulder, Bonbori, Hizuka, and Kasumi took the right shoulder. Yes, Naruto was sleeping with his whole harem and his fiancée. They slept for a long time. After a while Tenten woke up to pick up her baby and kissed Naruto goodbye. Naruto spent the night in Hinata's room along with the rest of his harem who loved sleeping within his presence. They all had happy dreams that night. The elders were almost home but someone was missing. They looked like they had something planned. Will this affect the harem plan when it's in its final stages, or will it still be able to happen? They still had one more day to wait before then.